Today we're going to talk about this 2021 Corvette 2LT with the Z51 Performance Package. The Z51 Performance Package makes this track ready. This is an absolutely beautiful example, tad under 5,000 miles. Very nicely equipped with features. Beautiful automobile. Absolute darling of the automotive press. One of my favorite automotive publications, Car and Driver Magazine. They have a CD rating 1 out of 10. 10 out of 10 being the best. Of course it gets a 10 out of 10. The Editor's Choice Award. In fact, you'll probably have a hard time finding any automotive publication that's worth anything, that says anything bad about the C8 Corvette. They made pretty much a budget supercar. You get supercar performance and absolutely gorgeous styling. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Ferrari F430. And I've made many videos on these C8 Corvettes in the past, and there's always those people saying it's ugly, it's terrible. How could a Corvette go to a mid-engine platform? The C7's way better looking. I love all Corvettes, but picture this. You have a C7 Corvette and the new C8 Corvette came out and the engineers decided to just keep it the old-fashioned way. You know, the Corvette's been front-engine rear-wheel drive all the way since the 1950s. They've teased us with some concept of mid-engine Corvettes, but finally they decided to make the move and go to a mid-engine with the C8. Well, you'd be pretty upset if you traded in your nice C7 Corvette for a brand new front-engine rear-wheel drive C8, and guess what? Your new front-engine rear-wheel drive C8 really isn't any faster than your old C7 you traded in. You'd be kind of peeved. Well, that's pretty much what the Corvette engineers ran into. They pushed the performance potential as far as they could with a C7 Corvette. Obviously, when you have a regular Corvette with 500 horsepower, that's one thing, but obviously they have the Z06s, the ZR1s that are, you know, pushing 700, 800. I think the new ZR1 that's coming out is going to be over 1,000 horsepower. Well, guess what? When you have a front engine rear-wheel drive vehicle of 800 or 1,000 horsepower, that's going to be hard to put that power to the ground. Believe me, I've driven cars with 800 horsepower that front engine rear-wheel drive, and it's hard to do anything in them without, you know, it's hard to put any power down without the traction control kicking in or you spinning up the rear wheels. So in order to raise the performance ante of the Corvette, to make it faster, they pretty much thought they had no choice but to go to a mid-engine layout. And that's how we got the C8 Corvette. And I guess if you have a problem with a Corvette being mid-engined, just pretend it's not a Corvette and just pretend it's not a Corvette and look at it. And maybe it'll change your mind. Maybe if they called it like maybe if they called it the Chevy Falcon, people wouldn't be all upset and they kept the regular Corvette, but that's a whole different story. But I think this thing's absolutely beautiful. If I owned one of these things and had it parked in my garage, you could park it in your driveway, but I think this is definitely garage worthy. I could stand in my garage probably for hours just with a beer and my buddies just admiring the beautiful lines, the creases and curves, all the little design details. This thing is an absolute automotive work of art. It is very well engineered, very well put together. The Corvette's a halo vehicle for Chevy. They can't afford to screw it up, and I don't think they did at all. I think they made an absolute automotive masterpiece that offers giant killing performance at a fantastic price point. I'm not going to get into too much into pricing because, you know, you could be watching this video 5 years in the future, and, you know, we change our pricing pretty much on a weekly basis. I'll actually have a link in the description to our current Corvette inventory, so you can take a look at this one if it's still available in current pricing, or if you're watching in the future, you can see what Corvette inventory we currently have. We generally always have Corvettes in stock. We love Corvettes and performance cars here, Mustangs, Corvettes, you know, BMWs. We have all sorts of cool pre-owned stuff here at Scarff Ford and Isuzu. But, you know, on the pre-owned market, depending on the mileage and the options, you can find these earlier generation C8s in the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 price range, depending on the equipment and miles. I mean, that's a lot of performance. I mean, you're not going to find a Ferrari or Lamborghini on the used market that's anything that you'd want to touch in the $50,000, $60,000 price range. And the other thing you have to think about is when you have to service it, you know, you're servicing at a Chevy dealership, so you're pretty much dealing with, you know, service costs at a Chevy dealership. You're not taking it to a Lamborghini or a Ferrari dealership where I imagine the service is a lot more expensive. And obviously this does have some a little bit more exotic components and things like that, but the engine that they put in the Corvette, obviously it's tuned for Corvette duty. It's pumped up to 495 horsepower, but, you know, Chevy uses variations of this engine in their Chevy pickup trucks. They use it in their Tahoe and Suburban and their Cadillac and Escalade. And those are all vehicles that need to, you know, be daily driven and reliable and designed to go well over 100,000 miles. Decent amount of trunk space back here, and you also have more space in the front. This has a Targa top. I think these These things right here allow you to secure the togger top in place. So if you decide to take the top off on mid-road trip or on your mid-Sunday drive, you have a place to put it if the sun comes out. I love the beautiful exposed engine. You can see it, you can admire it through the back window or the top window right here. Love the contrasting colors. The burble of that V8 sounds amazing. It sounds nice when it's idling, and it sounds equally as nice when you get it revving near a red line. And the nice thing too, since we no longer have an engine in the front, you have a frunk, which between the storage in the back and the front, you have a decent amount of space for you and your significant other for a little long weekend, or if you're great at packing, and maybe enough for a week vacation. The interior is absolutely beautiful. You feel like you're sitting in a fighter jet cockpit. I love the contrasting colors, the white exterior, the black and red interior. And this thing is absolutely beautiful shape. Very nicely designed interior. All the buttons are laid out vertically. I love the red contrast stitching. Tad under 5,000 miles. This thing's absolutely amazing. Heads-up display, kind of hard to see in camera, projects the speed, white gear selector, traffic sign recognition, so you don't have to look down off the road. And of course, you have this nice glass panel back here, so you can see that V8 engine. You can see it shake. This one's got navigation, rear parking camera. We have a front camera. We also have a front lift option. The front end's pretty low, so if there's any like sizable speed bumps or things like that, you can lift up the front end so you don't scrape it up. And I think, I'm pretty sure it also has memory, so if you have a speed bump in your neighborhood, you don't have to hit this button every time. It'll remember where it is, so you don't scrape your beautiful Corvette when you're commuting or taking it for a Sunday drive. And this thing's actually a great commuter vehicle. It's low to the ground, but you're comfortable. I'm 6'2". I got plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom. It's almost more like a car that you wear versus sit in, but you feel like you're almost part of it. You have a drive mode selector here that will change the behavior of the vehicle. We have sport, tour, my mode, so you can personalize that weather. We have track mode. And the Z51 package, what this one has, makes this thing track capable. The transmission is easy to operate. Unfortunately, no manual available on the C8. I love manual gearboxes, but there's a big steel or aluminum support beam right in the middle, making this have a very strong structure. But unfortunately, because you have that big beam going through the middle of the vehicle, there's no space to put a manual transmission. So probably never in the cards for the C8 Corvette. So I guess if you want a manual, you can get a C7, but I could easily look past all that other stuff just for the beautiful looks, the performance upgrades you get with the C8. It's definitely performance better than the C7 thanks to this mid-engine layout. I think if they kept the front engine rear-wheel drive, it'd probably be marginally faster than the C7. Thanks for joining me on this walk-around video. We're Ray Scarff Ford Isuzu. We sell new Fords, new Isuzus, and a very wide variety, as you can see, pre-owned vehicles. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.